Yes, and we're back, and it's still -9. JP, how we doing, mate? Obviously, normal podcast, mate, would be very, very positive. But in a way, mate, we haven't lost the match. Obviously, this is a post-match of the Glasgow derby, Celtic 2, Rangers 2, Ibrox. But yeah, shall I say, JP, a bit of a heart-murmuring game, shall I say. 1 minute the heart beats fast, next minute we're calm. It's all over the place. Maybe what derbies are all about, mate. I would say previous derbies we have been quite dominant, and this one was a bit nip tuck, I would say, overall, mate. But how are you, and how are you feeling after the game, mate?
Afternoon, mate. It's a bit uncharted waters for us here. We're on in the afternoon, mate. People are going to start thinking there's something wrong, there's something going on. People start turning into things at night time now, so we kind of want to steer clear. I'm only kidding. Typical derby, as you said, Rang. We get a great start. Maeda goes through and scores, and then Taylor goes down injured, and then the substitution's made, and Juranovic is brought on. And right for the start with Juranovic, he just couldn't get going. He looked miles off it, in my opinion. He just couldn't get himself going at all. And I thought as the game started to go, we were possibly the better team in the first half. In terms of we were only the only one of the two teams that tried to kind of still play with football. I mean, they just couldn't get any passing with them going at all in the first half, and they kept getting the ball right to us. And then we were sloppy at times as well, but we were probably still a bit better than. So that's what I mean in terms of with the scoreline at 1-0 as well. We kind of shaded the first half. And then the second half, in the first half, Joe Hart gives him a bit of momentum and all. He just takes too long on the ball, and thankfully you've got a guy who's no fit. And obviously it told in that moment because obviously I don't know. My milk turns quicker when you don't use it for so long, and I don't know what he's trying to do, but then it's a good save with Joe Hart for Kent's shot. Bit a weak shot in my opinion as well, probably. And then obviously the game goes to half time. And then the second half, I don't know what happens. We just come out with our eyes shut. And they start with a rocket up their backsides. And as I say, we were really sloppy. We gave away two really silly goals. Probably their first goal. You could probably say it was a decent finish. Second goal, I've no qualms with that because I think Starfelt takes Sakala's right foot away from him. And obviously it gives them more of momentum. And then the big push is live and loud. And because the first off, you couldn't hear anything. You could hear a pin drop in there. And I'm sure there was a few murmurs of booing and everything at half time when they walked off that park. Because I think when Maeda scores as early as he did, I probably wasn't the only one thinking, including the home support there, that this could end up a doing here. Because you're watching, at one point, Ben Davis was there at right back. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? But no, mate, as I said, it was a bit of a damp squib for us. We never really get any sort of real momentum in the second half of the game. And then obviously, the boys are all questioning the wee man. And I've told you to hang fire. I've told you to just bear with us, bear with him. And he does what he does, and he takes the heart and everything right out in the hope, right out of people by doing what he does. He's maybe not been in the game, but he's still there to score goals the way he scores goals in Kyogo to get us that equaliser. And in my opinion, Ryan, I think that's a big moral winner for us. And I also think it's a massive, it must feel like a defeat to them. Because in my opinion, 9 points behind, that's a game probably they had to win today, if you're taking it all into consideration. But no, as I say, it's good to see you. it's good to see you were two-timing me last night with another 3 guys. It was, I wasn't too happy about that, especially not getting told about it on my day off. No, I'm only kidding, but it's good to see you smiling again, mate.
That says, mate, why should we no smile? You're still 9 points ahead. You've not lost the game. Last minute, well, obviously it was a last minute winner, but it kind of felt like that because of how the game was going. I didn't really. You still see us any games, IP, when we're doing the dumps, so you're behind. You always sense something was going to happen. I knew we would get a chance, but you were thinking, right, this just seems a bit ominous here. This is going to happen to us. We're maybe going to lose the game here. But like he says, mate, Kyogo, I actually said to my old man about a minute before he scored, it's not really been his fault he's been in the game, but he's not really been in the game. He's not really done much apart from the chance he had, which I thought he might have done a bit better, but the ball was played behind him. He wasn't much in the game. He was tracking back. He was helping out and defending. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking, this is going to be people going to say, he's not scored again against Rangers. Similar to Fredo for them. But eventually it happened. That's him the best player. That's him the best player now. But Kyogo was still there, still chipping away. And his finish was superb. It was calm. It was collective. It was a goal-scoring goal. And I think the variation of scoring a goal like that and really the last minutes of the game, it feels like a win. And I'm agreeing with you. It's a moral victory in the terms of we've not lost a match. That's the best they've played against us in I don't know how long. A good few games anyway. And they still couldn't beat us. So for me, that's a mentality shift again because you've tried, you've huffed, you've puffed, you've went 2-1. You've got us in the back fit in a way. Could have probably got a third, and there's no. So for me, it's a moral victory. Like you says, mate, there was always questions of who's going to start. Will Moy play? O'Reilly? We didn't really mention Forrest. We mentioned maybe come off the bench, but on the bench. Still a good option off the bench. Unless, in my opinion, mate, I don't know if it's the same as other Celtic fans, but maybe it is. Unless Abada was really no well and Jota's really no well to play the game, I just don't. I can understand the experience side of Forrest. I totally get that. He's been here for a while. He knows what the game is all about. But when was the last time he actually played well at Ibrox? I couldn't name me one game James Forrest in the top of my mindset played well at Ibrox. It's always at Celtic Park. He does the business. At Ibrox, I was baffled by it. I think a lot of fans were. I can see the point of the experience side. Totally get that. He's been there, done it. He's got all these accolades and stuff. I totally get that. But unless it was a forced decision by the manager, I know he said it was a bug, but Abada looked fresh when he came on. Looked absolutely fine. And we all said, I know me and you and Barry said on Friday that Abada against Barisic would be a mismatch because it's a mental block here as well. He's been done a marathon 2 or 3 times now. And when he came on the park, as soon as he got the ball, he was right away. He didn't have much to do when he came on, but he was getting the ball main direct. For me, I just think if we lost the game, I think the decision to play Forrest would have been totally backfired by the manager. The fact they'll do the game, maybe not as much. And I'm never going to question the manager, JP, never going to question him because of what he's done. But I'm going to question him on this decision to play Forrest. Unless it was forced, I didn't think it was the right choice. But again, we've not lost the game, so I can't be too critical because we've not come out with 6 points. We've come out, we're still 9. We're still clear. Still the best team in my opinion. So, but in terms of Forrest, mate, I don't know what you think of that. It was a wee bit of a shock for me. I didn't. It wasn't my thinking for the game at all. Because he's not played against Hibs. He's not started a lot of games this year. So then you put him in a game like that. Okay, right, let's see how it does. But I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think it went well. Ange playing him, in my opinion.
I can see that argument. I think he was just ineffective, really. Don't think he had a lot of specific great service either. But when Forrest doesn't seem to get great service, or he's not as active, people just assume he's inactive and he's hiding. Or I don't think it's certainly not the worst time I've seen him. But I get the argument. I get what you're saying. Well, I just want to give a big shout out to our new boy, Alistair Johnson. I thought he was absolutely ace today. He done everything that he was required of him. He looks a lot more robust and defensive to anything that we've already got at the club. He certainly hasn't frightened to challenge, because the one in the first half that caused a wee bit of confrontation with both sets of players, the one he slides in Lundstrom, but he wins the ball. I think Rangers get a throw in from it. And then there's a wee bit of handbags, as I call it, with McGregor and Barisic. I don't know what Barisic was trying to do. It looked like he was trying to put his tongue in me McGregor's ear or something like that. I don't know what he was doing. I'm not too sure, but I'm not too sure what the water boy was doing. But as I say, in terms of like I say, in the first half, Ryan, I thought we probably shaded the first half. Second half, I think we were a good bit off it. In terms of the team, I don't really want to. I'm the same as you, mate. I don't really question the manager at all. I don't like slagging the manager, and I just think our rhythm of play today, just a lot of our passes were too short, a couple were too heavy. We just never get that happy medium. One or two good performances, but as a collective, we never get going today. And in my opinion, when you go to a place like Ibrox and you don't get going and you still hang on without losing the game, that tells you like where you are as a club also. It also tells you that you've got a bit more about you as a club in terms of mentality, and champions grind out results.
Yep.
Today we done that. Because like you says, it didn't affect the league table. It's not like we're any worse off than what we were before we went into the game. So, in my opinion, I don't think we were. I don't think, but at this point in time, it's it's certainly not a defeat for us. It must feel like a defeat to them, because you touched on it there. You says that that's probably the best they've played against us in a while, and they still can't beat us. So it's, if we're off our game and they still can't beat us, it tells you more about us than what it does about them. Mm-hmm. Overall, team performance wise, Ryan, I thought that there was a lot of sloppiness in our game today. We were taking unnecessary chances when we didn't have to. Try to play out for the back, but we were trying to be too casual with it at times. So even Carter Vickers get caught in the ball, although I thought he was a man of the match for us today. But obviously we'll come to that soon. But he get caught on the ball, and I don't know what Morelos is trying to do. He nearly hurt my motor with a shot he hit. I actually felt for my wee mate who was in the town today. I was ready to text him and say, you better duck now because there's a ball heading towards you. He's just had a shot. As I say, I don't know if he's even smashed a window, like even up the top end of the state. I don't know what he was trying to do. But as I say, overall I thought we were sloppy. And I thought especially with our ball retention, in the first half I thought we were okay, we were half decent, we were getting by. Second half I thought the game was a bit broken for us and we just never get any momentum at all. Their momentum totally shifted when obviously they get the equaliser. Right after that they get a penalty, which was a penalty. And I thought, getting into the last couple of minutes of the game, I actually thought we were going to get beat. Just the way the game was going, I thought he waited too long to bring the changes on as well. Mm-hmm. I thought he maybe could have changed the game a wee bit earlier. Especially when their momentum was there, and they were picking up all the loose balls in the midfield. I thought, right, McGregor needs a horn. He's in there himself, and he brought on Aaron Moy, but he brought on Aaron Moy, in my opinion, 10 minutes too late. he still brought him on 10 minutes earlier, and who knows, Ryan, in the end, we could have went on the money game. But that James Sands, mate, nobody's going to convince me. He wouldn't even get a game of fives with a school team, you know. Nobody's going to convince me that boy's a football player. I wouldn't even have him on my pool team. And they need snookers.
Aye.
So, but it's no him I would go to. Because he couldn't, honestly, he couldn't put a nut in a monkey's mouth. He couldn't. I'm deadly serious. He's absolutely woeful. They've got him on an 18-month loan deal. And I've yet to see him play football. I've yet to see him try. Because every time he does, he just looks like a fish out of water. He plays in 4 different positions the same way Juranovic played at left back today.
Yeah.
No other shot. But he plays 4 that he is versatile. He's no good at any of the positions that he was predicted at the beginning, as Alec Ray had said. So I'll give Alec Ray that. He was versatile. He's just no good at one of the positions. Nobody's going to convince me, mate, that guy's a football player. Did you see what he done today?
Aye. No, I totally agree, mate. We've said on this that I think they're talking 4 million, I think, to buy out for Sands. I don't think they'll be paying that. They can't afford it.
4 million boxes of Lego.
What's that, mate?
4 million boxes of Lego.
4 million Dembele dollars, I think, but it seems it. Johnson, big shout out, mate. I thought he played really well. He looks really fit. The first 5-10 minutes, he was just kind of seeing the game out, and I think he was just accustomizing to it. But I thought he was really good. But it wasn't exceptional. But to suddenly it was his debut in a game like that, I thought he done really well. Juranovic, don't know if I'm maybe been if I'm trying to back him up here, but I just thought he was awful. But he just looked so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
He just looked, his body position. He just looked that he wasn't a left back. That's the way he looked.
His passes were miles off it. But he was.
He looked well off it. Somewhat to Forest. See if Juranovic was starting the game and he played like that, I don't want him at half time.
Mm-hmm.
It was poor. But like you say, is about the first half through, mate. It was basically what me, you, and Baz said on Friday. They went planned out, get a goal, and they crumbled. We were toying in the first half of the first 25. We were playing well. Kyogo gets that goal. If you score that goal, make it 2-0. Game's a bogey. What I really noticed was as soon as we get that goal, their body language just went down. And I thought we played really well. We were controlling the ball, and what I noticed was we had to fight with desire, with the hurt. We were so much stronger in every department. We were winning the second balls. The boy Tillman, by the way, don't know what they see in him. He's so lazy. It's unbelievable. McGregor and O'Reilly and Ratati were just absolutely steam past him. He was so lazy in the ball. His ball retention, everything about him was not very good. And that's the guy.
Was he not linked to being similar to Messi?
Well, if you listen to the media up here, he's a mini Messi. I think they're still on the high medication for New Year because that's ridiculous. I thought McGregor was really, 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 really good the first half. I thought the bit it changed the game for me.
Eric Cern, mate.
Aye, the Ludemil. Aye.
Just as you said, that's that there, mate.
I think they're still on the Ludemil tablets for New Year. I think they need to get a smaller doses because...
I think they've up to doses, but it says on that bottle there, take one daily to think you're the best ever. I think during the week there before a game, Tillman must have took 5 because he says they're the best team in the country.
But, well, again, mate, I think that's just media talking. I don't know, mate. It's crazy. But the thing for me that changed the game in a way was when Joe Hart made the mistake. Because see, until then, when I say mistake, it didn't come to anything at the time, but it got their crowd up. It got them a bit of impetus in the game. They were quiet before that. We were passing the ball out at the back. Victors were strolling at Starfelt. It was fine. 1-0 up, kind of cruising. Obviously at 1-0, it's still a cagey scoreline. You need another goal. At half time, wasn't kind of comfortable. Take away the Joe Hart, the wee block, I thought we were quite comfortable. But for me, I totally get why he does that, because it's the way Ange wants to play. It was similar with Craig Gordon, with Rodgers. When he made mistakes, we get on his back. But when you actually sit back and take a look at what he's trying to do, it's what the manager's asking him to do. But in my opinion, sometimes you need to go against the manager and the way you play to keep the ball safe. Just boot the ball out the park, boot it away. Don't care if it goes out for a shy or it goes away a Tavernier right back. It's away for your box.
Why does he hesitate?
Aye.
Johnson's standing there.
That's what I mean.
See before he's even, because he's carrying a horse and cart.
Aye.
So by the time he's got to him, he's hesitated that much. He's still played the ball first time, and then he's running that way, stops, and then doesn't want to chase him because Johnson's too quick.
I just thought that was...
He just cuts that away, cuts all that out, as you're saying, and just takes all that and doesn't give him that momentum to come back at us.
That's what I feel. They went at half time a wee bit of their tails up, and we just, for 10 minutes of that second half, 15, we just fell apart. It was just like a meltdown. Don't know what happened to us. We were sloppy. But what I like about us, mate, even though we were 2-1 down, as much as maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, you start with a bit more urgency. We still passed the ball. We were still trying things. We weren't panicking. We were still taking 2 and 3 touches, passing the ball. They were still trying to get in position to try and do things, which I don't mind that at all. I'd rather they tried things than have to panic. I'd rather do things the proper way. Like you says, in terms of obviously the goal, Iranovic's body language was all wrong. His body position was all wrong. And then obviously Kent, good finish. You can't really say it, but it was a good finish. Yeah. And then the tails it up, and then the penalty. It is a penalty. But the fact that it's just Starfield, what's he doing? People might say it's not a penalty because obviously Sakala stood on his foot, right? But he's put himself in a situation as an experienced international centre back. Just stand up, man. Just see
my only thoughts are he's thinking Sakala's going to cut it back across the goal when he slides in to try and cut it out. That's my only thoughts for that. Probably. I'm totally with you on that. I'm totally with you as to why he would slide in. But my only thoughts are he slid in thinking he's cutting that out if Sakala plays a square ball. Probably. And the fact that it's too late then for Starfield to pull out it because he's already in the midst of it.
And that obviously gives him 2-1. The big house is all rolling and roaring, this and that. That's him back. And then we kind of waited just on a wee bit. I know that Tillman had a shot. Vickers, brilliant. For me, he's the best defender we've had.
Was that a shot?
Well, we call it a shot anyway.
I didn't even know what that was. It's just kind of... I don't know what he was doing, to be honest.
Vickers, mate, for me, he's solid. I think, was it £6 million we paid from? Absolute bargain. He's paid that back just on the day. Superb, man. Solid. Absolutely brilliant. Just totally, he's just so strong. Yeah. And he reads the game well. He was covering Starfield a few times a day. He's brilliant, mate. And I seen Alan McCoy this morning. I watched a bit of that BBC Extra thing. I was on BT Extra. And McCoy was sat to say that Golson was the best centre-back in Scotland. Sorry, Ali. I like Alan McCoy, by the way. I think he's all right. But you try to tell me Carter Vickers is the best centre-back in Scotland? Come on. Take your Aberdeen specs off, Rangers specs, whatever. Carter Vickers is by far the best centre-back in Scotland. He's superb. And the day, mate, he proved it live in front of the nation, the world. It was superb. And for £6 million for me, JP is an absolute bargain. I can't really give him any more plaudits, mate. He's just absolutely brilliant and so strong. He's a man mountain, and without him today, that might be 3 or 4 because of the chances he had. He was superb in every capacity. But the one I liked was the one at the tackle. He went right through. I can't remember who it was. He went right through, but it was brilliant because he got pulled and then he went through the tackle and he got a foul through it. But he was so strong. He was determined not to get beat. And that's guys I want in my team.
That's it. You throw the, I mean, look at the one later on, I know, where he hodges Scott Wright off. And he's pulling and hauling at him. Know what that reminded me? Remember the big rugby player? Played for the All Blacks? John Alomu.
Aye.
I know, mate, it's cold, and it's -9 in Glasgow. It's, you need to, maybe need to stick a hoodie on or something, mate. I know we're all starting to feel the pinch of this -9 weather, man. It's been amazing now for the last few weeks.
I'll stick on one of the wee towels I've got, know what I mean?
Is that one you've got on that shaky peg for Friday?
Aye, mate, aye. In fact, no, that's washed now. That's washed.
With the peg or the towel?
After OnlyFans.
Oh, aye, big OnlyFans, aye. He's
So that towel will get used on Friday night, so
I know what to find out. That's for a different show over here. We're not in at 5 o'clock at night. You behave yourself. I do apologise for my colleague here, folks, just in case Emily took severe offence to that there.
If anybody wants a pink towel, purple towel, then I'm your man.
Aye. He's got more than just YouTube and Facebook on his phone, by the way, in terms of apps. This man, I'll tell you.
Big Jason's applying OnlyFans. I'm supplying the towels for him.
Aye. Big Burner Barisic, he's a part-time water boy, isn't he? He's a Bobby Boucher establishment for his.
What about his close, by the way? Oh.
I know, man. I'm actually going to call him Dracula because he's terrible with crosses, man. I'm going to start calling him Dracula because he's murder with the crosses, man.
Oh yes.
But hey, I've lost my chain of thought. No, aye, I love it when that happens, but I love it because that's how good the banter is, you know what I mean? But we were talking about the Carter Vickers, aye. So obviously you see him, and he reminds me of Big John Alomu, the sheer strength of him, and you get people hanging. He used to run with 2 and 3 bodies hanging off his legs and hanging off his body, and I would love Big Carter Vickers to do that. See that All Black tribal dance just before the game. I'd love him to start that in training, man. I think that'd be brilliant. You picture that, the big man standing right at the head, right at the foot, right at the point of the whole team, screaming at the other team, snarling at them and everything. I reckon that you would start to see games even more now in the tunnel if they started all that. But no, astonishing, mate. Absolutely astonishing. All kidding aside, big man's astonishing. His strength is unbelievable. To still win that ball, even though there's been about, I don't know, there was about 6 fouls committed on him. Oh, and somebody kicking him there, somebody kicking his back, somebody tried to pull him in there, somebody tried to pull his elastic in his shorts. Oh, I thought it looked like it anyway. And they were all having a go at him, about 2 or 3 of them. Right, Sakala, and I think the other one was Ryan Jack, wasn't
it? Aye.
Then he was a wee bit naughty as well. He tried to hang me Jota, didn't he? And the wee man's like that, no chance. Too skillful for you. But no, Carter Vickers was astonishing, especially with his strength, Ryan. I thought he was magnificent, man. I thought he was man of the match for us today. Big Starfield with a decent game. I know he gave a penalty and that away. And when that happens to you, kind of for 5-10 minutes, you lose your head a wee bit. Mm-hmm. And I thought, as you said, I know you weather the storm, and because they did come at us as best they could. In my opinion, that's the best they've got. The way they played today, I think that's going to be the best they can play with this current crop of players. Because as we've said it before, that team's now coming to the end of a cycle. And it looks like the other one's not going to have any bites to cycle way the way things are going as well. So I think Halfords are getting into repossess one or two things as we speak, because you're in soapy bubble if you're having to bring in Scottish players and boost up the B team. And it's not the first time I've heard your man, I've lost his name now, Ian Beale. This man right here.
There he's there.
And that's seemingly that's the face when Halford's come in to demand the bikes back or not. That was his.
I've got nothing left.
Aye. Aye, that's it. Him and his number 2 were giving it loudly about having to promote youth players, and that's something you should be doing to try and evolve your club anyway. That's no, but when you're having to do that to bail you out, as in that's going to be your next generation to then have to go and challenge for the next couple of years. I'm sorry, I think you're in deep soapy bubble. If that's no, as I say, I think you're clutching at straws. I'm afraid because Celtic seem to. I mean, we've signed 3 players now. My Christmas tree still hasn't done. We're doing all right. Only one of them played today. Still got another 2 to come in. So, and you could probably say, well, a lot of people are saying my best players were still not even in the team today.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of Jota, Rabada, Haksabanovic was missing, Timoki Iwata. But I think Malik Tillman coming away with the best in Scotland. I think he's full of Iwata's brother, Lavi Wata. I think he's full of Lavi water, man. I'm not kidding, honestly. Because what a statement to make 2-3 days before a derby.
Crazy.
And then you don't win. Now, how do you look? There's no Tina Turner getting played on the bus on the way home or nothing. No. The way home to...
They've been simple the best after the bus.
Away home to watch a Norwich and Watford game for the second half. If you're lucky, you'll get in time.
I'm agreeing. Because I do think that what you said earlier, it is a moral victory in a way, because getting a last minute goal, when you leave the park, you're leaving it on a bit of a high note. You're not leaving 2-1 down and doing the dumps, getting home and just analysing the game. We'll analyse the game, but like you says, we're still 9 points ahead. We're still the same goal difference. Nothing's changed.
Mm-hmm.
But like we have says, we had to play really bad today for them to get anything, and we weren't at our best, and that's why they got something. Mm-hmm. If we continued what we played the first 25 minutes, the rest of the game, that was more than 1-0. But it wasn't. It was 2 each. I've seen some comments as well, obviously with the VAR, JP as well. Again,
yeah, I've got one here. I've got Red Scotland has commented. What's the panel's thoughts on the penalty Celtic didn't get and the penalty they got?
Well, for me, the one with Golson, right, the handball with Golson, at the time, I thought, this could be a handball, but I wasn't certain. And then even the replays they showed you, I couldn't exactly tell, but I've went back after the game, I've watched it a few times. I know still 40s can show you different, but I've seen some still 40s for different angles now, and it looks a handball for me. The referee's in the middle of the park, and he's that's there.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody who's watching can actually see it as a good angle, but for me, it was a handball now. For the more I look at it, at the time, live pictures and live video, I can't say I was sure.
Well, I've definitely ran it back, and
I think
I never seen it in live play. I genuinely didn't. I was too busy because the ball was wide and off, you remember. So I was too busy watching the movement of Kyogo and other people that was trying to get in and round the box. Because I was thinking to myself, right, if this gets cut back, we're going to have a man or two spare, because we did have men or two spare, because they started to panic as soon as the ball came to central. So, and then when you look at the phase 2, it was Starfelt trying to clip that. Is it Starfelt? It is, isn't it? Aye. Starfelt tries to clip that, as you can see there. In my opinion, what a save that is. He done Melody and McGregor.
I thought, now when I look back at the JP and I see photos, I see more videos closer, you probably, if it was a penalty, I don't think you could argue with it. I don't think you could argue if it was a penalty.
I thought McGregor was just waiting on him catching it.
Aye, because his hands up in a position where he's giving the referee a decision. But what I don't like is the referee is saying, it's not down to me. It is down to you. You're the referee. You're the man in the middle of the park. VAR is there for what I know, to help you and assist you. It's not to tell you what to do. You're still the main man. So if they're telling you that it's not a penalty, but you might think it is, or you've got a wee question about that, go and look at the monitor. It happened in the Hibs and Hearts game about half an hour ago. He went and looked at the monitor. So I don't know where the conspiracy comes from it, because when I look back now, again, I know at the time the game's very quick, etc. You can't always see everything, but they've got the technology now, and you shouldn't be able to miss the things. And on the Rangers penalty, it probably is a penalty.
I don't
think we can argue too much. Maybe we can argue the fact that Sakala is standing on Starfelt, and that's why he slipped and fell. But Starfelt's put himself in a position where he's giving the referee a big decision to make to give him a penalty. So I can't argue with the Rangers penalty, but for me, I think it was a penalty. I've seen too much now regarding still photos and a bit closer angles and different angles. I think it is a penalty for me. But I do feel that there's got to be a decision here with the referees. See if there's a handball, either go to them on it all the time or don't go at all. You can't go when you think it's one thing's maybe a handball, one thing's no, that's a free, well, not really free kick, but if that's a corner or whatever it is, they're fucking deciding. So, you've got to actually look at the monitor. Look at the monitor. You're the referee. You're the man in charge. You're the man getting paid for this game. You're the main man. You decide. No technology. Technology decides the offsides, right? That's what it's there for, to help the offsides. I get that.
But what is it? And what is the point of going to VAR in that incident if you're not going to use VAR appropriately? Because then he's no refereeing the game. It's because Willie Collins on the VAR, so he must be in his ear. So Beaton's an experienced ref, right? And people can say whatever they like, right, about all these things that, you know, this and that and whatever else is they're going to say, okay. But he's an experienced ref. In that moment, if he's not sure, and I know there's been a video put up now and he says something about it's no done to me. Maybe he's saying that because he never seen it. I'm not trying to make excuses for him, right? Because in my opinion, he's still into the monitor. That's what VAR's there for. You go, you have a look at the incident, you make up your own mind. You don't have somebody telling you what to do in your ear, because that defeats the purpose of you being the actual ref. But if you're not going to use VAR appropriately, which would be go and look at that incident, you see what it is, and then you give what the decision is. Why stop a game? Why say stop? And why not just play on straight away? Why stop a game and make yourself open to the allegations? You know? So, in my opinion, mate, it's just, as I say, in my opinion, it's just a load of nonsense. I've never seen it in live play. I've now seen it about 5 times for the game has now finished. And in my opinion, I think it's a penalty. If you're going with, if you look at our previous games to how Bernabe was given a penalty against him, Matt O'Reilly, a ball comes bouncing up half the underside of his hand. A penalty was given for that. If you're going to stick to that consistency, then I'm afraid that's got to fall into that category. And therefore, that's got to be a penalty. Because there's no point in going to the VAR to talk about it in your ear if you're not actually going to do anything about it. I just found that total a waste of time. Okay, the decision time was probably a lot quicker than what we're used to as well. But did it affect us? No overall, in my opinion. That'll be an interesting comment here, Ryan, just before we go any further, mate. It's from Real Scotland. It says, not long found your channel, guys. Great work. Thank you very much. Will not be long in putting in a word about the other podcast, The Unrestricted View. Hail, hail.
Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thanks very much, buddy.
And I apologise for swearing, but anybody who knows me in this podcast, I get passionate about VAR and referees because it's not just about Celtic, it's about the full Scottish football. They can't go and see monitors for one game and no do it. Like you say, JP, there's got to be...
Hold on a minute. I'm just waiting VAR coming in there for that to find out if it was an actual swear word or no. Hold on.
Is that what you're looking at?
No, it's not done to me, mate.
You got like that?
It's not done to me.
But I do feel that, like you said, it didn't affect the game, so we're not want to go on too much about it. But if that's 2-1, it finishes, there's going to be a bit more talk about it. Like I said, during the match, I wasn't fully convinced myself. But I'm not on that park. I'm not 5 yards or 10 yards in front of you. I'm watching it from my living room. I'm not there, so I'm only seeing from a TV angle. And sometimes the TV can be deceiving. So when you actually look at it, I've looked at different views now, and for me, is that going to be gave at the other side? Probably, in my opinion. Probably is. People will say you're being whatever, biased or you're whatever you want to say. But for me, I think that's given the other way if that's it their end. But like you say, JP, we don't want to talk too much about it because it didn't affect us. But what did affect us was Kyle getting the goal. Obviously, the subs, I'm agreeing with you. I do think
This man here.
this man there. I do think that the subs should have been made a bit quicker, i.e. Moy and
What I
Jota.
found so sweet about that, Ryan, sorry to cut you in. What I found so sweet about that there is we're on a group chat, as you know, mate. 5 minutes before this was questioned what he does in a big game.
Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, I was kind of questioning him as a player. I was just like, he's not done much today. I said to my dad, he's going to get a bit of a backlash because he's no scored. It's similar to Morelos for a bit. I think I said it in the start of the pod. He didn't get a lot of plaudits because he didn't score against us, and then he did. And then it was like, that's half his back now. Now he can go and be a Rangers player. I think because Clare goes on, he's done it now, so that's half his back. There's no question about him doing it in these games because he's done it and he's got a right goal for us.
Happy New Year, Stephen.
Happy New Year, mate. Thanks for listening, mate. Cheers. I do feel that he is the main man. I did think with Jackie Marcus when he came on, he gave us a bit physicality. He holded the ball up. I know he gave the ball away and it nearly, thankfully, nothing happened. But he did give a bit of how do you say it? Variety on his performance when he came on. Jota, I came on Evie's previous pods, mate, and say how different David this guy is. He came on the day, 10-15 minutes, roughly ago, and I thought he done really well when he came on. What he had to do, again, we don't know if he's really know well, if that's why he's really been playing. But he done really well to get the goal for Kyogo, past Aaron Moy. Another one, JP thought was unfortunate not to start the game. I thought he done really well when he came on. Like you said earlier, if he was on a bit earlier, could we have done a bit more? That's something we'll never know. But I do believe overall, mate, in terms of Kyogo as well and the performance, it wasn't up to scratch, what we know of, but the resilience of the team, you've come out with nothing gained, but nothing lost. But for me, I'm like you. I think we've gained a moral victory because I think it's again, it's sickening them.
That's a sickener for them.
They're 2-1 up.
Listen, you can try and butter that up either way you want. That is a total sickener for them. They had to win that today. Initially, they had to. There's 18 games left of the season. They had to win that.
They're 2-1 up, right? And he's put his eggs in one basket to try and shore it up. He's took off Morelos. Instead of putting Kolak on, he's trying to put on Scott Wright.
Did you see what happened for when Kyogo scored?
Don't think so.
Oh, he wasn't happy.
Oh, he was greeting.
Oh, he wasn't happy. No, he was really. No, there's nothing left. There's just nothing. He'd threw all his subs on by that point, and there was just nothing. There was nothing for him to go on.
He was looking for Phil Mitchell to go with nothing left.
Right. No, that's it.
But overall, JP, performance wasn't what we know, but we've came away with 2 each at Ibrox, which I did say to you and Baz on Friday, it's not what you want, but I will always take a draw at Ibrox, considering the situation, especially when the game went. You take a draw. But I think...
You jinxed us. It was you. You jinxed us.
But
you said it on Friday with me, you and Baz.
Aye. But see, to be fair, see on me, you and Baz on Friday, see until Joe Hart had that wee thing in the gate, we basically called that first half no spot on.
Yeah, we
you
did.
get and he would crumble, and he did until that happened. So
Yeah, and we let him back into it when him begin like Joe Hart giving him a bit of momentum, and then obviously their tails went up after half when they came out and scored.
I just believe, mate, it's a bit of it's a wee bit of a mental block again for them because they've tried and they've no got anything out of it. They've got a point, but it's not changed the league table. It's not changed anything in terms of proving that they're better than us or anything. So I think Ian Beale will going to phone to Phil and Grant Mitchell later and asking what's next, boys? What do they now?
They'll just tell him to go down the calf and get the tea on, probably, know what I mean? Get down that calf and get the tea on.
Aye.
Stop calling that team the other team.
What's that pub called in?
Queen Vic.
Queen Vic, that's what it is, aye.
Aye.
Down to the Vic and get a wee pint down your sorrows.
Down to the Queen Vic, look for one of them moneylenders you saw in Still Game.
See the money
allowance to get into the January Monday.
See the moneylenders, you're bad news. The next
bad news. Spells the end for a moneylender. So we'll get a wee comment in for Margaret Somerville. Good evening now, Margaret. Yeah. Happy New Year to yourself. Thank God for Kyogo. That's what I was shouting as well. Earlier on. And thank you for listening in, Margaret. But and few messages rolling in now, mate. In terms of the weather, we've been feeling the pinch for a wee while now, Stephen. So normally see normal attire here just now would probably be hoodies and setting my hoods up and stuff like that. If you're a regular watcher of the show, you've probably seen that already. But if no, me and Ryan decided before we came on, we'd made a pact and actually decided to put our heating right up full so that our two houses were warm enough for us to sit here just with our tops on. But I'm not going outside like this, trust me. But no, again, mate. Overall, I thought we were sloppy. We were. We gave a lot of the momentum to them ourselves. Some of it was self-inflicted. Overall, I thought the game was pretty broken. Probably wasn't the best. You're looking at derbies. As I say, it was probably not a great spectacle. Probably one thing that surprised a lot of people was the fact that it was only 2 yellow cards shown. In terms of Starfelt and Ryan Jack.
On Sky Bet, so I got there for a game about the bookings.
Mm-hmm.
You said they'll get booked. It was Starfelt, wasn't it?
That was Starfelt, aye.
Aye. I thought that. I don't know why it said McGregor was
unless McGregor get booked for just falling air. I don't know. I don't think that was an offence. So
unless he get booked for celebrating at the end when they scored, but I don't know.
Maybe. But no, as I said, in terms of the overall game itself, probably wasn't the best for people watching, for everybody. But like I says, it was a big moral victory for us, mate. And a game they probably had to win, in all honesty. But I don't know what your thoughts were in terms of the team selection itself. In my opinion, I think you were talking about the Forest thing earlier. I just think that's a curveball because they're probably not prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
They've probably prepared with Abada being on the right for us, and it's probably through him. And I think obviously us getting the goal totally takes their momentum right out of the game altogether. You can see their faces starting to get into severe panic, saying, "Oh no, what's going on here?" And then you seen Bobby Boucher swiping at things, and do you know I think he swiped that many times a day. I actually think he bought a couple of things off of Amazon. honest to God. I think there's 2 big delivery vans turning up at his door in Monarchs. Apparently he's got Amazon Prime.
See, to be fair, by the way, he might actually be on supermarket sweep, by the way, if that starts back again.
Wouldn't surprise me, mate. He's got that hair, hasn't he? He's got that hair today, one of the... You could just picture him in a polka dot blazer running down one of the aisles looking for a big banana. So it's worth £2,000.
Aye.
And the bananas get John Lundstrom's photo on it.
And his wee bit at the desk is Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher, aye. Bobby Boucher. He's carrying half the water and all that down the water aisle. Would you go for that? It's quality H2O, that, you know.
Aye, but no, I'm agreeing you, mate.
Wrestling's captain Insano. Mankini.
I do agree with you, mate. I think we were sloppy. You try your best to back up your players and no really... You can't slaughter the players too much because we've not lost the game. It wasn't up to a performance level. First half, I thought we were all right. I didn't think the second... I didn't get at half-time thinking, right, I'm worried here. Because they're still 1-0 up. But I think the fact Johnson played right back, I know Anne says that Juranovic wasn't fully fit, but then again, why put him on left back? Was it because of the experience that maybe we spoke about? Well, I spoke about that's why he might play right back.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he put him on left back. Does he not fully trust Bernabei yet to play these games yet? I don't know. But I think for me, as much as I think Juranovic is quality, I know he didn't play too well today.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in hindsight, when Taylor went off, I did think it was a big blow. I thought Taylor started the game very well. Maybe putting a guy who is a left back at left back might be better than playing a right-sided to a left-sided. I think Juranovic just looked so uncomfortable, but at the end of the game, it's no really cost us. So the managers, I don't want to say he's scot-free, but he's no harmed himself for the fans, because I'm being honest, if we get beat 2-1, I would have probably shirked on for playing James Forrest. Mm-hmm. I'm still there anyway. I didn't agree with. I was a bit shocked by it, but it's no effect to the game. Still 9 points. We've not lost the game, so I'm not going to sit here and say Forrest is this or Juranovic is this or Ange is this, because I've never questioned the manager. Right. But I'll say what I need to say if I don't agree with his decision, but that's why I'm a fan. I'm the one that job. I can only give my opinion for what I think and what I see as a fan. I just think that if Jota and Abada's fully fit, I think, or Haksabanovic, I think they've got to play a Forrest. I know he's going to get his game time if it's in some capacity, because he is still I think he can still contribute. But I think Haksabanovic, Jota and Abada, for me, fully fit, I think they're ahead of him. I think, but again, he's getting older. I think, was he 31, Forrest now? He's no finished or anything. He's no. I did think he was finished in terms of Celtic, in terms of no finished as an overall. I just thought in terms of being a starter every week and having that direct going at players, old-fashioned winger. I just didn't think he was that player anymore to be in Ange's system. I still think that, but he can still contribute to a certain degree. But that's maybe the only thing I thought about the team selection on. You were saying there, JP was probably Forrest playing, but we don't know if that was forced. We don't know if Abada wasn't fully fit or he was no well, or Jota still struggling. But Abada, to me, looked fine when he came on. But again, that's something we don't know, but we do know there's a bugging about, so we don't know if it did have any effect to him on that, and that's why Forrest was playing. But I'll never question the manager, mate. But I'm like you. You've got that's why we're fans, mate. You pay your money to your opinions, and I don't want this to make it that I'm a pure against Forrest. I'm just saying, in my opinion, Forrest, I didn't he was start. I didn't think Johnson was started, but he done well. O'Reilly, I thought was okay, but I thought Moy was a started. Sorry, I was saying that in hindsight, and the man just made the choices and the games happen. But I think the full thing I can take for this, mate, is I think it's a moral victory. We've not won the game, but because you scored the last minute and the way it happened, it feels like a victory and morally. I know statistically in the league table it's not a victory, but you're not going to get home. The players, in my opinion, will get home down the dumps. Oh, we get beat today, or they'll just go on as normal. But I think if we get beat 2-1, I played football, you played football, mate. You know, if you get beat in a derby or a big game, you would get home and look yourself in a room, or you be straight after social media, you would be away from it. You would just have your own thoughts. But they're going home now, they're probably going for dinner, they're all not happy, but they're fine. So for me, we've no gained anything, we've no lost anything, but I think we've came out it with a bit of resilience.
Oh, absolutely, mate. We showed resilience all right today in abundance. That was one thing we did show. We showed a good mental strength to ourselves today, I thought, personally. You come for a potential defeat position to being able to get yourself a point away from home in a really tough venue that's normally quite hostile. That's a decent thing to do, mate. It's like I said earlier, they had to win that game today. The pressure wasn't on us today. Pressure was on them. We could have just mounted the pressure higher today with a victory. And like I say, if Celtic would have went to have -12 a day, and I think I was going to buy 2 jumpers and 2 hats and two of this and 2 of that. Thermals a lot, because that would have been really cold. And I think -12 all but, in my opinion, would discount him for any shout of winning the league. Right, we've not lost a game, and the St Mirren game was the first game we've been beaten. What was it? 11 months, 12 months.
I don't know. I heard it on the TV, mate. I don't know if it's the right start, but I think it's one defeat in 51 or 52 or round about that type region.
Absolutely frightening. And I mean, that is absolutely scary, regardless of what league you play in. That's
not going to be the back news or the front news. It's going to be Celtic scrape a draw, or Celtic.
Oh, probably, aye.
It's not going to be Celtic or galvanised to get a draw, or Rangers fall apart, or Celtic. It'll be against Celtic.
Probably, aye. No doubts about it. Because that's the way that's kind of looked upon, isn't it? But no, as I say, you said that we never lost anything today. We never gained anything. But we did keep our momentum at 9 points. And now we move on to other results. Now. And like I say, Ryan, they still need us to lose 4 games. There's only 2 more derbies to go in the season. Mm-hmm. So that's not enough if you're going to just base it on the 2 games. So, because there'll still be a gap of 3 points should they win the 2. But they're not coming to Parkhead to win, Ryan. It's just
goal difference. It's an extra point in it, really.
That's what I'm saying, aye. But they're not coming to Parkhead, in my opinion, Ryan, to beat us. They couldn't beat us today, and that was our best chance when we weren't playing too well. Do Celtic play like that quite a lot? No. It's maybe once every blue moon. So, in my opinion, mate, and by that point, you've got Tomoki, Iwata, potential probably maybe 1 or 2 new faces again there. Team's a bit more settled. You've probably got other players that you can use in your squad that maybe won the other day, in terms of guys like Jota and Haksabanovic, Abada, that are all like full pelt and ready to go. Long time away, but obviously who knows what could happen, mate. But obviously the last wee bit of the pod, mate, before we wrap up, because -9 we're going to have to. So, I know you're laughing, mate, but it's just not a laughing matter. Try and put your wee pinky toe outside that door, mate, and you'll feel how Ian Beale felt today when that full-time whistle went. But as I say, last wee bit of the pod, mate. Obviously, moving forward, we've got a semi to look forward to as well. And what's your aspirations as we go?
I think obviously come on Saturday. I think we play before them as well, so puts a bit of pressure on them. Got to Tannadice United. I don't know what the live score is at the moment, but they've started to get a bit better. I think Rangers have tended to find that a bit tough recently at Tannadice. So if we go 12 ahead and then they're still to play again, it puts pressure on them.
United beats St Johnstone 1-0.
Right, so they're going to that game next week with a bit of form. Rangers come after a draw, but for me, I think I really believe that's a signal for them today.
Aberdeen never won either. They drew nothing each.
Right. I really feel it's a signal for them, mate, to be honest with you. I think most of our fans, I've had a few text messages myself, Rangers fans, my mates, and they felt it's the one today. Aye, probably right. On the balance of the game, they should have. But the manager, for me, the manager's subs for them is, I don't agree with subs either. I think you've got I know Roof might be injured all the time, but his goal record is actually decent. He's got a good goal record for Rangers, and Kovacs scored a few good goals this year. So you've got to question why he's putting on Scott Wright and no two players. And the game was only 2-1. I don't see why, in my opinion, where he just shut up the shop. Aye, maybe 5 minutes to go, but no 15 minutes to go. There's a lot of happening in 15 minutes plus stoppage time. Like he says, mate, when we get to goal, they've no other options to play.
Yeah.
They've not got in the park. They've got Scott Wright. And again, that's near face of Scott Wright, but he's done better than He's done better than what I've ever done. But if that guys you're going to your squad to try and go and win your games, you're never going to win the league against us, because we've, like, your subs, I thought your subs done well. You're bringing on a striker who's meant to be wanting off other teams, like Marcus, because he's maybe know what to stay or contract. We don't know the full ins and outs, but you've got a guy like Jota on the bench to bring on, fully fit, we don't know. Abada, Aaron Moy, you've still got all these internationals on the bench to bring on. So going forward, mate, I think hopefully one is Saturday and you keep the pressure on, and then it leads into a semi-final. A big chance to get into a final, which I feel you've got to go into that game expecting to win. It's a final. We've done well under Ange recently at Hampden as well. People say Hampden's meant to be a hoodoo for Celtic. We've won just about every time we played there recently.
Yeah.
That's why we've won, was it 12 trophies or 13 trophies? I think it's 12 in it. We won in a row. And then including these two there. So that's 14 trophies, I think it is, roughly, in how many years. So to say that Hampden's a hoodoo for Celtic, can it be? Because you've been a successful team at Hampden in the last 10, 12 years. So I win the semi, beat Kilmarnock and then go for air. But I think it's vital, JP, we get through to the final, because I think it gives the team a bit of, I don't want to say belief, but it gives you more momentum going into the second half of the season, because you've got a final to look forward to. You could be 9 points or 12 points. You're in a very, very good place. We're sitting here thinking, we'll just do our rivals. Oh, okay, we take the point. But in 2 weeks' time, we come in a final and 9 and 12 points clear. Football changes so quickly, and I think that's the thing. But we, as well, maybe there's a bit of reality. I was thinking at 1-0, it could be 3 or 4. For 45 minutes later, it's 2-1. And then so football can change very quickly. But overall, I think one Saturday, keep the pressure on, and then look forward to the semi-final at Hampden, big match. Big chance, big time to go through another final. So look forward to that when it comes, mate. And what about yourself?
I'll probably second that, mate. I just, like I've said to you before, Ryan, it's about winning as many games as we can now and try and get this league wrapped up as quick as we can. If it means we need to try and put our foot to the flare to do that, then so be it. Well, let's get it done, and let's concentrate a wee bit more on these 2 cups. We've got a wee bit of a gap in the league now, so I don't want to say we'll take our eye off the ball, but we'll certainly we've got a bit of a gap there now. To sort of after Saturday, put our eggs across into a different basket and start looking at another game to try and get us, as you said, get us to another major final domestically. I'm not too sure when the last time Celtic didn't make Hampden, but it's been absolutely phenomenal the last 6-7 years anyway. And who would have thought as well, like years ago when the Bunnock Fergus McCann came in and saved us, that, you know, it was our home park for quite a long time before our stadium was ready. So it does appear to be our home park. There's a couple of breaking news bits coming into me just now, mate. I've actually found Borna Barisic again. Big Bobby Boucher's definitely went for a seat again. He's he's decided to have a seat again, and I don't know, take a load off his mind maybe. Hope he's dressed for the occasion, to be honest, because it's very, very cold. And apparently Abada's fine as well, mate. He's been running about Paisley Road West singing songs seemingly. So he's all right. He definitely looks like he's in a good mood anyway. I just want to say I got myself a good deal, mate. Just before we go, got myself a good deal. They were auctioning them off, so I thought, why no? Because it might help in terms of your communications and that. As an example, so I won these at auction. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's ex.
Oh, I want one of him, I know.
We'll get one, didn't you, mate? So this is what him and Roy Mackay used to communicate with at match days. This is where he let his disappointment go many times to not having jam on his sandwiches some weeks, which is why apparently that's why he didn't go and clap the fans and stuff like that, because he was just in too much of a huff. And there was one week where Milkshake, that's on Channel 5, and Roy Mackay didn't record, and he missed Paddington. Would you believe it? So he was really, really upset, and I think that was the game they get beat with St Johnstone in Perth also.
I'll tell you about by the way, she like home bargains, and I know Toys R Us, I think they're out again, weren't they?
Amazon, they've still got an online bit, if they know.
But the amount of Paw Patrol and the devices, man, they must be going, why are we not selling these anymore?
Oh, seriously, exactly. Because see, before obviously your man came in, and it was all about brown brogues, and that was all it was. It was all Paw Patrol, and apparently that's how. Do you know that's why they didn't put Cinch up on the poster board behind him when he was doing his post matches? Was apparently the guy was late coming in to do the Paw Patrol stickers. To put it up so it was up behind them.
So that's the pre-match ritual gone.
He turned up with a Hey Dougie, and he got sent away apparently because Hey Dougie was taken away for Netflix. And obviously Peppa Pig's too naughty. She's no nice to her wee baby brother, so they didn't want to put that because it was advertising being abusive. So they didn't want to put that up. So they went with the Paw Patrol because they always seemingly come to the rescue. Just a shame his team couldn't.
I think Ian Beale was definitely clinched it, isn't he?
Oh, aye, definitely, aye. I don't want to say too much about the guy, man, but he's done more talking than Eamon Holmes in 5 press conferences than Eamon Holmes has done in the last 25 years.
As I say, mate, he's got nothing left.
No, he's nothing left. No, everything's gone, totally gone. Even his ma's not letting him back in the cafe anymore. Do you know what I mean? He's totally. His wee brother Ben doesn't like him anymore either, so he's just totally scunnered.
I think he'll need to take Ben Spectrum and actually pick his team a bit better.
Aye, maybe need to, mate. Aye, or maybe get Pedro Caixinha on FaceTime and start dishing out the Volvic bottles and the Strathmore bottles and stuff, and see what sort of plan they can conduct to try and win a derby.
Play him there, the bottles there, know what I mean?
Aye. It's not a bad addition there, by the way. You look a big Tony Adams there, man. You're giving it the old hand jiving there, my man.
I'm sober today, mate, so I'm no hand jiving tonight.
You're no hand jiving tonight. But I want to thank everybody again for taking the time to listen to us. Thank you very much. Happy New Year to any of you that I've no managed to say Happy New Year to.
Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. And if anybody hasn't done so and you like the content of the page, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. All you need to do is hit the wee button that says subscribe. It's free to do so. If you don't know how to do it, all you need to do is, if you've not got an account, all you need to do is set one up. You can do it by just a wee email address and a password that you, as an individual, would remember. Myself and Ryan are on all social media platforms as well, so you'll be able to find us on them. Like I say, the content we bring is totally free. And here is a wee note of our Twitter, in case anyone was looking for us. was going to say something else and it's right out of my head. Oh, hi. Sorry. Hi.
Contact Jason.
And if MD's into a wee after a watershed show or anything like that, big man's got about 6 cameras. I think he got a new one for his Christmas, which makes it Magnificent 7. They're all set up. He's loving them. Some of the angles we've seen him in is unbelievable, like upside down, and I don't know how he does it. I just don't know how he gets himself in the positions, mate. But myself, I will be back on Friday for our usual Friday Goal Rush show, and I'll be chatting with, up to now, it's myself, I think, innit, right? I don't know who else is coming on with me.
I'll be there.
There we go. I've got a full commitment. I'm getting a contract written up now so that you're there.
You can't miss a Goal Rush, mate. That's a Friday night, man. Can't miss that.
Friday night. That's it. But I'll be back for the Friday Goal Rush show, folks. It'll be the usual. Obviously, we'll be chatting about all the weekend's games that are coming up, and probably Celtic's game against Kilmarnock this coming Saturday. And hope we can put a bit of pressure on them. But listen, guys, I know it feels like a Sunday to everybody, but it's a bank holiday Monday. I wish you all the health in the world, and a massive hail from myself. Massive hail. So the two Ronnies in it. Massive hail for me, and a massive hail for him.
And I'm going to make the tea. Good night.
You're about to make the tea. Get that hot water bottle heated up, mate.
It's cold, isn't
it? Thanks very much, and I'll see you all again, folks. Thank you.
Take care. Hail.
Hail, guys. Bye-bye.